Council will call this meeting to order. For the record, it is Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 4:30 PM. We'll begin this work session with roll call attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman Little Roberts. Councilman Taylor.
Here.
Councilman Overton.
Here.
Councilman Whitlock.
Here.
Mayor Zimmerson.
Here. Next item up is adoption of the agenda. Councilwoman Little Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no changes, I move we adopt the agenda as published.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as published. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is agreed to. Next up is the consent agenda. Councilwoman Little Roberts.
Adopt the consent agenda as published.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the consent agenda is agreed to. There were no items moved from the consent agenda, so we'll move on to department commission reports. So item 8 is fiscal year 2025 budget amendment in the amount of $158,760 for Fire Outreach Center design, and turn this over to Chief Butterfield.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. You have in front of you a budget amendment request for $158,760 for the design of the Fire Outreach Center. Also attached within your packet is a memo from the CRR Division Manager and questions that have been asked and answered. So at this time, I'd like to turn this over to our Division Manager of CRR, Carly Shears, for a brief presentation on the amendment that's in front of you. Thank you.
Good evening. I do just have a few slides. Just quick question. Do I just press the over tab or ask you to move? Press the arrow. Okay, sounds good. Trying to be respectful of your time this evening, I did write down what I wanted to say so I can be concise. So I am going to be reading. So good evening, Mayor Simonson and council members. I want to thank you for your time and the opportunity to present to you on the proposed Fire Outreach Center. I want to start off with stating the intent and the purpose of this space and the value that the fire department sees in having an outreach center, specifically at this location and attached to the community center. And really the intent and purpose is to better serve the public through fire and life safety education and community engagement, helping create a safer and more resilient city. Based on the experience gained in the CRR division, having held a multitude and variety of classes and community events, this space is recognized as an invaluable opportunity that would meet the needs of the CRR division and the community both today and for years to come. Settlers Park, being centrally located and widely used, is an excellent location for this outreach center and to meet the needs of the community. Additionally, being attached to the Meridian Community Center provides an increased opportunity for public engagement and educational opportunities. Having a solid year now under my belt as a division manager of CRR for the fire department, a few things have become very clear to me, and those are being the expectations of the community when it comes to the fire department providing fire and life safety education, risk reduction efforts, and overall public engagement. But even more importantly, the actual need for risk reduction efforts and the overall impact it has on our community. While being only one component in the overall CRR process, I do want to take a minute to highlight the important role public education plays in creating safe and resilient communities. When people understand the risks that they face, as well as the appropriate prevention and mitigation strategies, they are able to make safer choices. And without consistent education, complacency sets in, leading to an uptick in preventable fires and injuries. The data that you see in front of you, while it may not reflect causation, certainly shows correlation. And that correlation is a noted increase in the incidence in the Meridian response area, particularly in the categories shown above: falls and lift assists, cooking fires, structure fires, motor vehicle collisions, as well as a noted decrease in the public education and community outreach the Community Risk Reduction Division has been capable of providing over the past 18 months. In fact, when we compared the year's data from 2021 to 2022 and that of the most recent year, 2024 to 2025, we have seen a decrease of 80% in total community risk reduction responses, being educational presentations, classes, station tours, et cetera. Within these total CRR responses, we've noted an additional 68% decrease in community event contact time, as well as a staggering 98% reduction in hands-only and certified CPR classes offered to the community. When we look at why we have had this reduction, there is a direct relation to both decreased staffing in the division, as well as no longer having an adequate facility to provide vital classes and educational opportunities for various community groups and organizations. In the years past, the CRR division had the Fire Safety Center off Leafield Drive, which for the time was used and was a valuable resource to the community. However, this facility was not designed for or planned appropriately at the time to meet the future needs of how large and diverse the community would become. That is why we view this initiative as crucial in addressing a significant gap in our ability to provide essential fire and life safety education to residents of all ages. It is anticipated that the center will host community training sessions, including fire extinguisher training, CPR, AED classes, and additionally, this space will be designed to accommodate our larger car seat safety clinics, as well as regularly scheduled car seat safety checks. Another key function of the center will be to offer an alternative venue for groups seeking fire station tours, reducing the operational impact on fire stations while still providing an educational experience to the community. Beyond community outreach and engagement, the center will also function as a workspace for the CRR division, supporting both current operations and future growth. By integrating a fire outreach center into the new community center, we can significantly enhance community engagement, risk reduction, and overall public safety. This space would not only be an educational asset, but is a forward-thinking investment that will save both lives and taxpayer dollars in the long run. I strongly urge the council to prioritize and support this initiative as part of the new community center development. Thank you, and I'd be welcome to open for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Carly. Council, any questions for staff?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Overton.
not a question as much as a comment. Many years ago, we opened a training center, and it was a partnership between police and fire, which was brilliant. Building two of them, one for each agency, didn't make any sense. And I like seeing the fact that we're now bringing fire into the community center, and again, bringing two parks program and fire program together into one location. I think that's probably the most efficient way we can get the job done.
I couldn't agree with you more, Councilman Overton. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, Councilman Cavanagh, I didn't notice what time you joined, but welcome.
thanks. Again, apologies, team, for my tardiness. Carly, first, commend you and your team. Great presentation. I think, when we get to some of these budget amendments, it's sometimes, hey, here's a picture and a paragraph, and I appreciate you and your team's efforts to really paint a big picture and a vision for what you're hoping to achieve. My question somewhat dovetails off of Councilmember Overton's statement, which is about the training center. And certainly we've got some space right now in our current home court facility that I think you guys are using. Help me understand why this approach, going along with a new building, is more efficient as opposed to repurposing or reutilizing some existing space that we have.
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilman Cavanagh. It's what I've experienced in the past year in this role, especially trying to schedule classes at the Public Safety Training Center, is that it is widely utilized and very, very difficult to schedule classes. I tried to schedule some classes recently and we're really pushed out to weekends when we use that, which is okay. We're operating outside of our normal work hours, so that causes some issues, family life, different things like that. But overall, it's very difficult to schedule space at the Public Safety Training Center. What could be addressed or done for that in the future? I'm not quite sure. I think it's probably above my pay grade, but I suppose there are options there. Regarding home court, it is a great facility where we are able to have storage as well as offices for our personnel in the CRR division. However, we don't have very many AV capabilities. It was recently recently renovated from a church, and there are some classrooms there that we could gather some people in, and we have before. It's just not an ideal environment. Specifically for car seat checks, we are still doing those, especially in inclement weather days at the stations to provide coverage. And so the proposed community center also has a Sally port that would provide that safe space for families as we are installing car seats. So additionally, it is my understanding that future needs of the community and specifically court space and time, that there's the potential that the home court facility, basic specifically, would get turned into more court space for the community to use. And then, so really looking into the future of the CRR division and where we could be, I don't see it being into home court facility for into the extended future. And I do think that this opportunity at the community center is much more viable, especially when we're talking about future needs.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Taylor.
just a quick question. Do you have any sense of kind of where we're at now with the number of kind of classes and outreach we're doing and what you think having this space would enable you to do? I mean, maybe it's a little premature on numbers. It sounds like you probably have to develop the programs a little bit more, what we would do. But do you have any sense or that you could provide?
Yeah, I mean, I do know that we do turn down a lot of requests for classes. Just based off of staffing and availability in our division. I do have some numbers from 24 to 25 for the last year as far as how many classes and events that we've been able to provide. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for, or just kind of total community engagements?
Just a general sense.
Yeah, so it looks like total contacts in the CRR division at events was 4,415. We had 37 presentations to classes, educational facilities, 27 of them were elementary schools, 61 hands-only participants for CPR, 61 for certified CPR, station tour contacts, 285 station tour contacts, 1,285 total school contacts. Yeah, we have a lot of different numbers here, so. But comparative to years past, again, we've decreased, 80, upward of 98% in a lot of those, so. Did that answer all of your questions, Councilman Taylor?
Yeah, that was helpful. I'm just trying to get a sense. And what you said there at the end in terms of where it was and kind of where we are now, and it seems like clearly, moving back to where we were, and then even above and beyond, trying to provide some more services and classes.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Whitlock.
Carly, thank you for the presentation. And in real estate, they always say location, 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 and that's the big driver. Is this the right location for you in terms of being central to our community, which you said? But do you get the kind of traffic and visibility, do you think? And have we seen that across the country by co-locating and being in a high traffic area? Does that help as you do your community outreach?
Yeah, I do believe the location at Settlers Park is an ideal location for this. Originally, I was thinking, oh, maybe on the south side of town where we're developing and things are going to be newer, but a lot of our educational efforts, specifically at the Public Safety Training Center, are much more centrally located on the north side of 84. When we schedule different events, it seems like they're always wanting to be scheduled on the north side, and Settlers Park is just a very busy, community-oriented, not only park, but area. Additionally, being tied to the community center, there's a possibility that they're going to be offering things like cooking classes there. And we have the opportunity to get in and, we've seen an increase in our cooking fires, and to be able to provide that fire prevention education around cooking safety. There's a lot of opportunities that are missed currently because we don't, one, have the space, or two, aren't tied up with something like a community center where we can really engage and interact with more members of the community, specifically for targeted intervention programs.
And no one ever told me the south side was an option for something, so I don't know, maybe I have to reconsider this. Council, any additional questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Taylor.
the question, maybe Steve answers this, or finance. Impact fees are paying for the community center. For this portion of it, is it fire-related impact fees that will pay for it? Getting a head nod? Is that?
No, it is not. It is general fund dollars.
Okay,
That leaves us open opportunities for however we'd like to move forward in the future, be impact or general fund at the appropriate time.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Carly, very much.
You're welcome. Just to close, I would like to throw it out there that I would love the opportunity to still come talk to council about community risk reduction and the process and what we do in our division. I would love for Liz and Luke to be able to be here. So whenever you guys are willing to invite me, I would humbly welcome that opportunity. So thank you again.
Thank you. And council, I'll just add, I appreciate Councilwoman Schrader and all the diligent questions she asked and the information that was provided to you all on this. When the chief first approached me about this topic, I thought it was a natural connection. And you really, if you look at what we utilize, and I don't know when the last time any of you were in the old facility, fire education is more than that. It's moved forward in a lot of different ways and can be better serving this community. And so I think this is a great way for us to take advantage of a asset we hope to have in our community soon, but at the right time, and have this be part of that operational facility, more people in the parks, which is where people go in one of our busiest parks. So I think it's got a lot of intrinsic value that we don't even realize yet when the time comes. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any motions.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Little Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the budget amendment in the amount of $158,760 for the Fire Outreach Center design.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve item 8. Is there discussion on the motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Cavanagh.
I want to just maybe speak real quick to my vote. I won't be voting in favor, and it's not because I don't think that we need a new facility. It's no surprise to this council. I've got some concerns about this community center project. I'd much rather prefer a larger conversation about either a dedicated facility or a rehab of an existing facility to meet these needs, as opposed to putting this in connection with the community center. So I appreciate what the team does. I'm all in favor of CRR. I just don't like this particular location.
Council, any additional questions or additional comments? If not, clerk call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Cavanagh,
No.
Little Roberts, Taylor, Overton,
Aye.
Whitlock.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 nay, and the item is agreed to. Thank you very much. And to Steve, Chief, look forward to continue forging the partnerships on this item. So, okay. With that, we'll move on to item 9, was the Park and Recreation Commission annual update to City Council. Turn this over to Commissioner Gelsomino.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. The last time I presented the Parks Commission report as chair was right at the outset of the pandemic. So it's a great feeling to not have to do that during the outset of another tragic pandemic. Before I continue, I'd like to extend a big gratitude plug to Shelley Houston for preparing this PowerPoint today, knowing that I work in a different time zone, although I work from home. She was able to put together an incredible PowerPoint to present for each of you today. But we will get started, and I apologize, we're just clicking the left arrow, right arrow, perfect, thank you. So as each of you may know, the Meridian Parks and Recreation Commission updates its list of goals for the coming year. We've currently identified 11 goals for we're actively working towards in 2025. In this presentation, I'll briefly tell you about the progress we've made. So first goal, participate in the design and programming of our new community center. As you know, planning is well underway for this new facility, which will serve as the hub for the city's community education programs. It will be accompanied by an expansion of Settlers Park. The Parks Commission has been actively reviewing documents, providing input, and attending public engagement opportunities as they become available. I apologize, let me put my eyeballs on. Our second goal, and one that a lot of us are, that is a favorite of many of us, the support and development of a connected pathway system across the city of Meridian with a focus on user experience amenities and improved connectivity. The Parks Commission remains very invested in the development of our city's connected pathway system. We see it as an incredible opportunity to offer an alternative method of transportation among others that we currently already have. Each May, we take a bicycle pathways tour to personally view recently completed projects, see progress being made on current projects, and to understand future connections. In our 2024 pathways tour, I was able to record our entire tour on bike through the Map My Ride app, and we did about a 5-mile ride from Rita Husky, where we started, to Black Cat and back. Our attention has most recently been focused on the 5-mile pathway, the trail hub, the Golden Spike Bridge, and the future connection that will connect McDermott Road to Glassford and pass underneath State Highway 16. This is an ambitious project which will be in collaboration with ACHD on. Our third goal, the Meridian Pathways Master Plan, is currently being updated. It has not undergone a comprehensive update since 2012. Park staff is currently working with Alta Planning Consultants, and an initial information gathering has begun. Input has also already been sought from a steering commission, of which 2 of our Parks commissioners are currently members, and broader public engagement activities will take place in the near future. The updated Pathways Master Plan is targeted for completion by the end of this year. Our fourth goal, continuing to provide feedback for our ongoing parks improvements and enhancements. We continue to explore ideas that enhance and improve the user experience for those who utilize our various parks. A recent example of improvements we've implemented would be the lights that have been added to the tennis and pickleball courts at Discovery Park. Our commission also gave input on the communication board that was installed as part of the Tully Park playground replacement. It helps nonverbal individuals better communicate with others during visits to the park. We also supported the addition of a small parcel of donated land to Hillsdale Park, which provides a more convenient way for residents of a nearby neighborhood to access the park. One quick item that I'd like to add to the updates and renovations to Tully Park. As a former caseworker for individuals with both mental health experience, with mental health illnesses, with behavioral health disabilities, any opportunity that we find where we can improve the quality of life of others of our fellow Idahoans who do live day to day with mental health, behavioral health, or any other form of disability, is an incredible blessing, because as Idaho, we do sometimes lack in available resources for those who live with those day-to-day challenges. And so providing them with those additional opportunities and amenities to make them feel more welcome is incredibly important and a valuable goal that we continue to strive for. Our fifth goal, participate in the partnership with the Meridian Arts Commission to add theming and identity reinforcing art in Meridian parks and along pathways. Focus this year is on Chateau Park and the Arts Master Plan. Last year, Seasons Park received a colorful new themed entrance sign and picnic shelter gable. These artist created items help reflect the park's four seasons theme and give the park a more memorable look and a sense of place. The latest Meridian Park to receive a glow up through the installation of public art is Chateau Park. On Monday, April 21st at 4 p.m., we will dedicate the new public art pieces in Meridian's Chateau Park. The pollinator and native flower themed pieces designed by Treasure Valley artist Ken McCall are part of the city's ongoing efforts to make its city parks more distinctive and inviting through the installation of themed public art. I'll also make a quick plug on that, as well as many on the commission know, and as well as many of you on council may know, one of my biggest items that I have striven for both as chair in the past, as a ongoing commissioner, and as chair this year, is to increase our use of native and pollinator flora throughout the city of Idaho, or throughout the city of Meridian. I believe that as we continue to strive towards being better stewards of our environment, we need to have the ability to provide ecosystems where those species that give us clean air and clean water to breathe and drink flourish. Our sixth goal is supporting future improvements at Lakeview Golf Course, including clubhouse and patio improvements and new on-course restrooms. Last May, the golf community, city leaders, and park commissioners gathered at Lakeview Golf Course to celebrate improvements made to the course and clubhouse. Our very own Councilwoman Little Roberts gave the opening shot and did so gracefully. We also held a Parks Commission team building gathering at Lakeview last year. The course has benefited from an entirely new irrigation system, paved cart paths, and reshaped tee boxes, along with a new fleet of golf carts. The clubhouse debuted new furnishings, fresh paint, and carpeting, as well as a new custom bar top. The patio's enhancement included a new louvered shade covering, new patio furniture, flower boxes filled with colorful flowers, and a pair of fire tables. 2 new on-course restrooms are currently being installed, with 2 additional coming later this spring. And for those of us who are golfers, it is always nice to have a restroom facility at arm's length. Goal 7, pursue a future park site in Northwest Meridian Fields District. The city is currently working to acquire approximately 40 acres of future parkland located southwest of the intersection of Canada and McMillan Roads. The land would eventually be used for a future regional park centrally located within the Fields District. Pathway connections are projected for the area, as are a number of smaller neighborhood parks likely to be constructed by developers and HOAs in the area. The Parks Commission will be given a project update on this next month's commission meeting. We're excited that new parkland, half purchases, half donated, will be reserved for a new regional park. Our 8th goal, support replacement of the Settlers Park splash pad. Last May 30th, just in time for summer, we celebrated an all-new splash pad at Settlers Park with a pop-up popsicle party with the mayor, Parks Director Sidaway, and other city leaders. The splash pad, which replaced the park's aging splash pad, has a fun nautical theme with water cannons. It also has a UV water sanitation system and other features which help protect the health and safety of its users, which makes my germophobic heart happy. Our city splash pads will open for the warm weather season around Memorial Day, and we are hoping for a less smoky summer this year. Goal 9, we engage other task forces, commissions, entities, and agencies through workshops and other outreach for partnership opportunities. We enjoy collaborating with a variety of community partners. Examples of those we have had as guests at our monthly commission meetings include Ada County Parks and Waterways, Boise and Nampa Parks and Recreation, the Meridian Dairy Board, one of Meridian Co-op Gardeners, MYB and PAL, and ACHD's Safe Routes to Schools staff. Others, such as the Meridian Library, Meridian Food Bank, Idaho Fishing Games, and MIAC, regularly take part in our large community events. Guests from outside organizations also occasionally attend our annual parks tour by chartered bus, which we hold each September. Our 10th goal, supporting ongoing operations of the Meridian Pool. The Meridian Pool remains as popular as ever. Aquatics Director Willow Spurlock recently gave an update of recent improvements throughout that were made to the pool last year. These include a new motor installation, front railing work, the installation of a new 3-meter diving board and a new fabric shade sail, or new fabric shade sails, excuse me. Hiring for lifeguards and swim instructors is going well, and the pool is planning to be able to accommodate some evening and Saturday opening swim hours. In addition, to its usual afternoon open swims. The Meridian Pool will be open for the season on Monday, June 2nd, and signups for swim lessons begin April 3rd. And lastly, Goal 11, pursue improved communication tools and opportunities to engage the community in diverse interests. One of the newest ways the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department is reaching out to residents is through a new online e-newsletter, which goes out near the start of each month. It is sent to an email mailing list of of more than 26,000 addresses, which include all the folks who have ever rented facilities from us or participated in our classes, camps, and sports leagues. Director Sidaway recently spoke about the department to the Meridian's Chamber leadership, Meridian participants, and to the Meridian Rotary Club. I will also make a final plug from for myself and for my fellow commissioners. We also, because we do discuss this throughout our commission meetings, we do also engage our community members and fellow citizens of the city of Meridian by just going out and being out in the community. Most of my engagement is at the dog parks and hearing what our fellow community members have to say, whether it's compliments, whether it's areas of improvement, and everything in between. So being able to reach out to people via digital mediums is also going to be a major method of gathering stronger input. And with that, I will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Dom. Council, any questions?
Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
Chairman, thank you for your presentation and for sharing some of these goals. Is that working now? Sorry. Thank you for your presentation, Dom, and for sharing the goals. And as I reflect back over the past year and some of the things that we've been able to do as a council and some of the long-term planning that we're looking at in the Fields District, the community center, the commission has been very involved in the groundwork with some of the decisions that have come to council. So appreciate all of the groundwork that you're doing with your commission and the recommendations that are coming forward. And sometimes plans change. And I just want to compliment the commission and the department. Earlier this year, we had an opportunity where a family in this community wanted to do something and add to our Discovery Park. And we had a budget amendment that came to us to approve a Ninja Warrior course at Discovery Park. And so as you go through these goals and as you're looking long-term, I just appreciate the flexibility along the path to be able to say, here's a new need. Here's something that we wasn't planned for, but something that we want to support. And the support that we felt here as a council from the department and from the commission to be able to have a budget amendment to fulfill a little girl's dream was both heartwarming and heartbreaking for us at the same time. It was an amazing, amazing evening, and thank you for the work that went into that ahead of time. As I look through all of these goals, you're doing some things that are improving the quality of life for all residents of Meridian. And so I just appreciate the sacrifice of time. I appreciate the hours that you spend at the dog park talking to people. I appreciate your fellow commissioner here with you tonight to support you in this presentation and the full commission for all that you do. So just wanted to say thanks.
Commissioner Whitlock and Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you so much. You know, that's our role, both yourselves as elected officials and ourselves as, you know, appointed volunteers to make those tough decisions. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not the easiest. We've all learned how to do acrobatics on our commission, especially in the very outset of my very first term as chair of the commission. We had to do some acrobatics during the very first year of the pandemic. So, there are those times where I've pushed. If it were up to me, we'd have a community garden in every park in the city of Meridian. The fact that we got one at Discovery Park, I can only thank yourselves and Mike and Steve for really sticking with me and allowing it to happen, because, having to find a clone for Julie is not easy. But we were able to find someone to administrate and manage the community garden at Discovery Park, and we're able to extend that resource. There have been other things that I've pushed for that didn't come to fruition, so I understand there are those things that we win and we don't.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Little Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, Dom, thank you so much. Great report, and thank you for all of your years of service and dedication. It's greatly appreciated. You mentioned things that you kind of work for, and in your talk, you mentioned pollinators. And I guess since it's spring, we're hearing a lot about pollinators, and we don't have places where they can thrive like they used to. Is there anything specific for pollinators that we're looking at doing or that we're currently doing?
Councilwoman Little Roberts, thank you. And that is an excellent question. I can speak not as a botanist, but I can speak as a homeowner that has has had his shares of struggles and successes with regular gardening and with growing my own vegetables. There are a lot of different items that we can pursue and that we do continue to pursue, which is identifying those native and indigenous plants to the state of Idaho that are more pollinator friendly, or introducing flowers, plants that tend to attract higher levels of pollinating insects, bees, butterflies, or pollinating birds such as hummingbirds. It also, on a macro level, we also have to consider the air quality, water quality. So seasons like last year, summers like last year, where our skies are orange and toxic, they are not going to be conducive to active pollination. But when we do have better years, hopefully this year, we will continue to push for the inclusion of those pollinating plants, flowers, so that we can continue to nurture and strengthen those pollinating ecosystems, because the catastrophic consequences otherwise are to have a future where we don't have clean air to breathe. Thank you.
Council, any additional questions? All right, Tom, thank you very much for what you do and what all the commission, and appreciate the hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, council. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
And with that, we'll move on to item 10, which is an annual report update from the Historic Preservation Commission. And turn this over to Chairman Johnson.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak this afternoon on the highlights that HPC has done this past year. Our ongoing projects include our virtual tour. We're continuing our projects with whole films to document areas and building associated with the city of Meridian. These virtual tours include Meridian City Hall, History Center, Main and Broadway, Pine Street School, exterior and interior, Black Cat Farms, Meridian Speedway, downtown areas along Idaho Street, near Centennial Park, Community Center, along Idaho Street between 4th and 5th, and the Eggers Farmstead at Black Cat Road. In 2025, we plan to add new virtual tours along North Main Street. You can visit this website off the city's website or go to the link that's listed here. May is always Preservation Month. In this past May, we celebrated the month downtown signage and walking tours. We would like to thank Pine Tree School and Hidden Gems Events for their help with these tours of the historic sites. Ongoing HPC projects, the self-guided tour. Self-guided walking tour is available year-round. Free booklets with a map and interpretive information are available at City Hall. For an enhanced walking tour experience, download the Meridian Historic Preservation app for Android and smartphones. We also redid our walking tour brochures, and I handed those out to each of you earlier today. Our guided walking tours. In 2024, we hired a historic preservation consultant to create a new easy-to-follow walking tour guide binder to aid our HPC commissioners in leading these in-person walking tours, and gave challenge coins to the walking tour participants. Commissioners led 4 walking tours last year, and we plan to do a series of 6 this coming year. We'll do them the 3rd Saturday of every month. It's free, no registration is required. We just meet outside the City Hall at the front steps around 10 o'clock on those Saturdays. Our social media continues to grow. Efforts to encourage the public to follow Meridian history on both Facebook and Instagram. Our posts highlight our history, both our culture and our historic buildings. Our accounts continue to grow in numbers, the followers, and the people that comment on our posts. As you know, last year we got the Meridian Speedway listed in the National Registry of Historic Places. That ended a 4-year process for HPC, and the Speedway was greatly appreciative of our efforts. This past year, the Eggers Farmstead and Black Cat historic structures. We would like to thank the mayor and council and to the developer for helping facilitate the preservation efforts for this last remaining dual silo structure in the Treasure Valley. The silos have been carefully disassembled and transferred to Victory Gardens for future reassembly on their properties for the community to continue to enjoy and remember our past. Historic preservation projects, landmarking program research. Idaho Code allows commissions to create landmarking programs. This will allow Historic Preservation Commission to review and make recommendations on changes to landmark properties and time to negotiate with property owners or other parties in an effort to find means of preserving properties. Advantages for this for Meridian over local historic districts. Landmarking can be non-contiguous properties throughout the city, less regulatory or restrictive than historic districts with design guidelines and standards. Create a formal way to celebrate and identify local historic properties. Our next step is a planning project. HPC would need to do more research, create recommendations of which properties would be included, what criteria would be used, how the properties would be designated, what activities might trigger review. HPC would need a clear purpose and criteria for review. Updating Historic Preservation Month Plan. Meridian currently has a historic preservation plan that was completed in 2014. The Idaho State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, recommends updating preservation plans every 10 years. We received a $12,000 CGL, Certified Local Government Grant, from SHPO to help with this project. We are also providing $5,000 in matching funds and in-kind staff and volunteer hours. Consultant began this project with a kickoff meeting that involved interested historic preservation stakeholders at our regular February HPC meeting. A public survey will soon be open, and the first public outreach meeting will be held on Saturday, April 19th from 11 to 1 at Hidden Gems Events. Join us for the outreach meeting at City Hall for our first guided walking tour of the season. With that, I'd like to thank the mayor's office, city council, city staff for all they do for us. And it's our pleasure to be able to serve you, citizens of Meridian, serving our history. Without the support we receive from the city, we would not be able to do the work that we've been tasked to do. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Blaine. Council, any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to commend you and all the good work that you do. I read an article today, kind of an update on those silos, which I think kind of highlights a really good working partnership with the commission and with the council and our community partners to sort of figure out how do we go about preserving the kind of unique history that we have. I think the Victory Gardens locations are a perfect spot for something like that. It's a neat little area. It's a nice little business. And I think that's a great way to preserve and tell the story. And I just want to commend you for kind of being creative and helpful and patient with the city council and the mayor as we all tried to kind of figure our way through that. I think it was about a year ago, if I recall correctly, kind of discussing.
Yep.
it. So anyway, just really appreciate your work. And I think that's a great example of how the commission advises the city on what are some really good decisions and how we should go about doing that. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Yeah, along the lines of Councilmember Taylor, Blaine, you're far too humble. You helped to drive getting those silos placed when the city kind of exhausted options or thought options had been exhausted. You were quick with an idea and helped to bring this all together. So, one, thanks to the commission for flagging this as an issue. And two, thanks for your hard work to get those relocated. I can't thank you enough for perseverance and creative approach. It just goes back to, I think, what we say every time when you're before us. The HPC Commission is about making history. It seems not just preserving history. And I appreciate your leadership and the commission's efforts. Our community should be really proud of our HPC Commission.
Mr. Kavner, thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, thank you very much for the update and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Okay. Next up is Meridian Arts Commission Annual Update, and it looks like we're going to have Cassandra and Bracken, their chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you so much for letting us present to you today. My name is Bracken Bird. I'm the current chair of the Meridian Arts Commission. And I'll be co-presenting today with Cassandra Schiffler, who is the, of course, Arts and Culture Coordinator for the city. These are our wonderful commissioners. We have a great team, and we love doing what we do.
One of the major projects that the Arts Commission works on is through the public art program, the MAPS program. So through an ordinance that was passed in 2014 called the MAPS Ordinance, the Meridian Art in Public Spaces, City Council allocates 50 cents per Meridian resident to complete public art projects for visible, tangible public art on public property. So additional funding might come from other sources, like this year, Valley Regional Transit and the Meridian Development Corporation sponsored some pieces. I'll show that in just a minute. So it might come from other sources, but primarily comes from that ordinance. So just this last year, the projects that were completed were some bike racks at Discovery Park, a fanfare sculpture also at Discovery Park, collaborative signage project at the Trail Hub, West Ada School District student art on the traffic boxes, some traffic boxes by professional artists that were themed with Meridian history, and the transit shelters. So here's some images of these. These are the bike racks. And these pieces, they're represent a peregrine falcon and the raptors. And so they each have kind of a different color, and they are made out of salvaged stainless steel propane tanks. So they are 99% post-consumer recycled products. Another art piece is the fanfare piece by Steve Parker, and this also utilizes recycled materials. Those are actual reclaimed brass marching band instruments. And to interact with the piece, you're supposed to put your ear up to the bells on the bottom, and then they amplify the exterior sound. So the work serves as a reminder to be present and appreciate the sounds around us. Then in 2023, there was the taller mosaic sculptures that were installed. And in 2024, completing sort of the site at the Trail Hub, we had the artists work with the sign company as a collaborative project. So the mosaic that's on the public art piece is also on the sign. So it's kind of a nice throughway for the art pieces. And then there's also, they might not be super recognizable as bike racks, but those cattail sort of sculptures are bike racks. They have a little sign at the bottom with a bike to indicate that. So it's kind of some nice theming through that, through several projects, sort of the same way that Discovery Park had several projects with theming around learning, exploration, and discovery.
Yeah, like Cassandra said, we had, every year we have our West Ada School District art show in the gallery. And us as arts commissioners get to jury these wonderful kids' artwork, and we pick several to be on traffic boxes. So we were able to wrap 5 of those this year. Yeah, and then next, we were also able to wrap 3 boxes by professional artists, and we did it a little differently this year. We decided to do, they got pairs of boxes so we could have a little bit more of a cohesive look to these traffic boxes, which I think turned out really beautifully. And like Cassandra said, there was a theme this year, and it was Meridian history. So all these pieces have something to do with Meridian specifically and the history. One of the artists, Kayla, she specifically went to the History Center and did a ton of research for her project, and she got permission to use this historical photo for one of her boxes that she used as reference for the bigger box, which was really cool. I like that little piece of history that she used. We also were able to work with Claire Remsburg in acquiring her pieces that she created for her traffic box. She has 3 pieces that she created for these boxes, and we are in the final stages, I believe, of acquiring those. And they'll actually be hung right outside the windows there, so you'll be able to see them all the time. But they're really beautiful, and I know Claire personally. She's a great local artist, really influential in the community. So yeah.
I was exceptionally happy with how this project turned out because this was a collaboration with Valley Regional Transit because they have the transit shelters. And fun fact, there are actually only 2 transit shelters in the city of Meridian. So we have done public art on both of the transit shelters. And the Meridian Development Corporation sponsored these. So this one, the theme was getting around Meridian. So they're kind of transportation and Meridian themed. One of them, the structures are kind of some abstracted pieces and silos, and there's some railways imagery that's in Meridian. And the one on the right, the couple that's in there is actually the Eliza and Christian Zinger. I hope I got those names right, the founders of Meridian. And you can see the water tower and things in there. So both artists did a pretty exceptional job on these. Really happy with how this project turned out. And if they build some more transit shelters, then we could do some more public art on transit shelters in the future. So what's next with public art? What else is coming up or in development? We've got the traffic box program, planning on doing the West Ada School District ones again. Safe Passages is an artwork that is planned to go in the median along Linder Road. There's a little bit of a mock-up design there on the right. That's a local artist, Stephanie Inman, and we used a stakeholder committee with ACHD, Planning Department, Parks, Arts Commissioners, and the landscape architect that is doing the landscaping in the median to select the project. There were 3 artists that submitted designs, and Stephanie's is the one that was selected. And then, as you heard just a few minutes ago, Chateau Park is it's installed, and we're not going to show you pictures because we would really love you to come out to the dedication event. And again, that one was kind of, we used a stakeholder committee of Parks and Rec commissioners, arts commissioners, some neighborhood citizens, the HOA, and other city staff to guide that. The artist submitted a few different designs, and the one that's installed is the one that was selected. Also, we're looking at doing some artwork on the community center. So Stephanie Inman's going to work with the design team to identify opportunities for integrated public art at the community center. The big project this year, though, is probably the public art master plan. We have never had a public art master plan for the city of Meridian, so we are just barely underway, but there should be a survey coming out soon and some public engagement activities to get some information from the community about what they would most want to see. And as Dom said earlier, the theme kind of for the Chateau Park was pollinator and native flowers. And so some of those, the little hummingbird and the butterfly and the bee are actually pieces that are in the sculpture that we pulled out for the graphics. Excited to see those.
Please come. Yeah. So Initial Point Gallery is near and dear to my heart. We had the most applications we've ever had for the gallery this past year in 2024. So double the applications we usually get. That the word has really gotten out about the gallery, and it's one of only 2 art galleries in Meridian, and it's one of the best places to show work in the valley. So it's a really great opportunity for artists locally and really instrumental in our art community. So we currently have landlines on view for another week. Stephanie Inman, who she was just referring to as the designer for that Linder Overpass project, actually has work up in the gallery right now. So she's a very influential local artist. And our call to artists is currently out, and the deadline is May 30th, and those applications will be for the year of 2026. And we anticipate a lot of applications this year as well. We usually are able to give a lot of the artists that apply a chance, but last year we, sent a lot of rejections, which was sad, but also really cool. So
Good problem to have.
good problem to have.
Arts Commission supported 3 different youth performing arts projects for Treasure Valley Children's Theater, their Imagine a Dragon performance, the Idaho Fine Arts Academy's Sabraduria Conectada performance, and the high school band boosters. Concerts on Broadway, popular series as always. We had Afrosonics, Steve Fultron's Ultramuse, and Summer Groove Party Band. This year we have Soul Patch and Rockabetty, which is a little bit of a newer band that does 50s and 60s covers of female hits. And Summer Groove Party Band has kind of been here every year, but their scheduling didn't work out. So then we have Billy Blues Band for the last one. And just a heads up, those were kind of all sort of around September. So we're spacing these out a little bit this year. So they'll be happening in July, August, and September, one each month.
So the Tammy DeVeert Awards is something that that happens biennially. So last year we had ours, and these were our winners. It is a legacy award named for the former mayor, Tammy DeVeert, who was just a huge supporter in the arts and sort of really instrumental in forming the Arts Commission. So it's a really cool award. There are 4 categories: student excellence in the arts, supporter of the arts, excellence in the arts, and arts and education. So that happens, like I said, biennially. So we'll have the next awards in 2026.
Meridian Art Week is another great program. We have the Art Drop, which happens all week there. And this year, or this last year, we had this coincide with National Arts and Education Week, and sort of tried to, instead of doing all the arts for everyone, focus it just a little bit on education and education-focused things. So there were several classes, an artist talk at the gallery, and then the community art party event. This has been a little bit of an evolving event, and I think this was definitely the most successful year worked a lot with Renee, our special events coordinator, and we had a lot of components come together. It was at Kleiner Park. There were some art installations. You can see this is called yarn bombing. It's and they yarn bombed the Kleiner statue. We got permission from the Kleiner family. But they're crocheted and they're kind of temporary. She also wrapped several of the trees, so that was a fun installation. There were several hands-on booths. There's letterpress printing and people could take away posters. We had lots of community organizations like Story Night and things throughout the valley. So it's really an opportunity for the community to come and learn about various arts organizations throughout the valley that they might not know about, that have opportunities for them to get involved. There were also performances throughout, and do you want to talk about the chalk art competition?
Yeah, and every year we have a chalk art competition, and that's always really successful, and I think especially like the kids and families really enjoy that. So we have 3 categories. We have a youth, obviously, and a group. So kids will come together and with their friends, or families will come and do a chalk mural together. And then we have a professional category. So we have, and this is judged by the arts commissioners. So that's always a fun thing. And it felt really fun to give those awards on that big band shell at the park. So.
Oh, and the Boise Co-op in Meridian at the Village actually sponsored the awards, so the cash prizes happened for all of the chalk art
Right,
competition.
yeah, that was good. That was fun to be able to give them a cash prize too.
We also had a temporary mural paintings and installation. So there on the left, that's actually Jay. He was not a commissioner at the time, but he is now a new arts commissioner. And these are kind of temporary panels that were put up in the park by different mural artists that were happening on site.
Yeah, and it was, I actually got to help one finish her mural, which was fun. But yeah, we had 3 muralists, and then on the other side of the cube, there was a sort of color in design made by the last year's seasonal assistant, Paxton. Designed it, and it sort of ended up looking kind of like a Jackson Pollock at the end, but but it was really a fun activity and all the kids really loved it. It was very unrecognizable at the end. But yeah, that was a really fun project, and we're happy to have Jay on as a commissioner. We're also in negotiations to purchase one of these murals and have it permanently.
The mural with the bright, colorful ones in the mountains for installation at home court in basics and sort of the lobby area. So, but just overall, that event, it's been kind of evolving, and I feel like we really hit the right formula. So this year, we really just want to try to replicate it and keep that momentum going.
It was especially good for the kids, I think, and the families to have it at the park and in the day. That was really nice. So, yeah, these are our adopted goals for 2025 as a commission. And I won't read through these individually and bore you with them, but please look these over. We're really excited for the upcoming year, and we're excited to work on and towards these goals. Thank you guys so much for listening to us and having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brack and Cassandra. Council, any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Taylor.
Cassandra, thank you. Great to see you again. Brecken, thank you for being here. Just one comment and a question. First, as a comment, I think the traffic box is one of my favorite things that you do. I think that's really fun. I had a guest from out of town who came, and they just noticed it at every intersection as we were driving around. And I think that's a really unique way to kind of make it kind of fun and interesting. On the temporary murals, can you just, that was kind of the first time I'd seen that. Would you just take a minute and tell me how long those temporary murals are up? Where do you put them? Do you plan to maybe have them at different locations in the city? Like where, I'm just kind of really interested if you could take a couple of minutes maybe and tell me a little bit more about that.
Great question. Thank you, Councilman Taylor. So temporary, they're up for the event, 4 hours. So we did find that location for one at home court. Tried to look into different solutions because they are just on like plywood panels. And so exterior, if you have any places that are interior locations with big walls, but we just couldn't find permanent homes for those. So talked to the artists a bit on the other ones and they're fine turning those panels around and we can reuse the panels for next year. But so it was a little bit more of like the performance part of the mural painting.
Additional questions, comments? All right. Thank you very much. You guys stay busy. We know that. And so we look forward to seeing what you can top this with next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Council, we've reached the end of our agenda. Are there any comments or do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Cavanagh.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just team, before we wrap up, I know there's still some folks that are in the audience, and I know Dave sent us an email just announcing the passage of Lila Hill, and I just want to take a quick moment and just thank Dave for sending that to us. Lila was a very unique individual with strong opinions on just about everything. And when Blaine was giving his presentation, I wish that I could have had Lila with me to hear her opinions, the good and the bad. I'm sure that she would have offered about what HPC is doing. And I just wanted to take a moment and recognize her impact on our community. While never elected, was certainly a leader and a driver of many leaders in our community. And I want to take a moment. Thanks, Dave, for sharing that sad news and just to take a moment to recognize her impact. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. And with that, I move that we adjourn the workshop.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Council will call this meeting to order. For the record, it is March 25th, Tuesday at 6:01 PM. We'll begin tonight's regular city council meeting with roll call attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Cavanagh,
Sorry, here.
Councilwoman Little Roberts, Councilman Taylor,
Here.
Councilman Overton,
Here.
Councilman Whitlock,
Here.
Mayor Simison.
Here. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all please rise and join us in the pledge. Mick, are you here for the community invocation? All right, next up is the community invocation, which will be delivered by Mick Armstrong. If you would all please join us in the community invocation or take this as a moment of silence and reflection.
Father, you are mighty, creator of the universe, and you are in our midst. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the prosperity and the well-being of this community that you've given us. And as you provide protection, at your voice, the mountains quake and the seas foam. And you are among us. And I thank you for that. God, as the city council considers a variety of matters, I pray for their wisdom, pray for our departments who continue to provide good service to our community. Father, just that we would find in you life and peace. And that's what I find in this community, and I thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mick. Appreciate you. Okay. With that, we'll move on to adoption of the agenda.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'm struggling. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is agreed to. First item up is a proclamation for Hawaii High School Boys Basketball State Championship Day. I'll go ahead and go down if the team would like to join me at the podium, and Dr. Bub, if you'd like to join as well. Well, this never gets old for us here at the city to congratulate our high school athletic accomplishments here in the city of Meridian. But I think I've said it before and I'll say it again, that you also make me feel really small in that context. But we will go ahead and do a proclamation, and then would love to invite the coach up to say a few words, followed by the players. We'll do what we've done in the past, but we'll add one change in this year. I'd like them to say how many years they've been on the state championship team. So how many state championships do they have in that context? But with that, whereas being a Hawaii High School boys basketball player is more than scoring points, making assists, grabbing rebounds, stealing the ball, and achieving state titles. It is training to build leadership, character, confidence, teamwork, and resilience, all traits needed to succeed on the court, in the classroom, and in the real world. And whereas Hawaii High School has captured the 6A boys basketball team championship and brought home the third state title in 4 years. And whereas Hawaii finished the year 23-4, and the Storm are 79-4 versus Idaho team since opening their doors 4 years ago. And whereas the Hawaii High Storm took the title with an impressive 31-point win that was the biggest blowout in this championship game of Idaho's largest classification since 1919. And whereas the leadership, training, and discipline of their coaches helped all team members to focus their talents, passion, and determination to become a winning team, with each player making a valuable contributions to their victory. Therefore, I, Mayor Robert E. Simpson, hereby proclaim March 25th, 2025 as Hawaii High School Boys Basketball State Champions Day in the city of Meridian, and call upon the community to join me in congratulating the Hawaii High Storm on their remarkable athletic achievement and for representing Meridian so proudly in the state tournament. That is 25th day of March, 2025. So on behalf of the city of Meridian, where the city, school is located, even though I know you all come from all over, including a good representation of Star, and the good mayor always is there to do that, we say congratulations and thank you for all you do, and I'll turn this over to the coach.
I just want to say thank you to the city of Meridian, West Ada, Dr. Bub, Owyhee High School, our administration, our teachers, Rachel Edwards, Dane Royer, athletic director. Thank you to all of them for all the support that they've had for us for the last 4 years. Here at Owyhee, it truly is a special place, and we do feel the support, especially from the city of Meridian, the city of Star, West Ada, and the people that are in the school every day. I just want to give a special shout out to our players. The wins are great, but these guys are phenomenal kids off the court. They just under a 3.5 team GPA this year. Have been donating a fair, not a million hours, but we have been, working with the Meridian Food Bank, and it's something we want to continue to do in our time here at Owyhee. And these guys are just great characters within our community. So I want to say thank you to our players too. They're the ones that make this go. So thank you again, Mayor.
So if you all wouldn't mind just coming through, say your name, year, position, and how many state champion teams you've been on.
Gavin Knowles, forward, 2026, and I've been on 2 state championship teams.
Jordan Allen, class of 2026, guard. I've been on 2 state championship teams.
Ryder Smith, 2025, and 1.
Jay Sauron, 2025, guard. I've been on 2.
Caden Rogers, guard, 2027, and 2 years.
Owen Brown, 2028, guard, 1.
Donovan Vinberg, guard, 2028, and I've won 1.
Brady Greenwald, team manager, 2025, I've won 1.
Cameron Downey, 2025, guard, 3.
Jackson Rogers, 2025, center, 3 state championships.
Bodie Howell, I'm a senior and I've won 2.
Logan Hosswhite, I'm a guard, 2026, and I've won 2.
Coach Andy Harrington, this is my 3rd championship.
Really quickly, the guys that aren't here, Heath Sasser, guns in. He's a senior. He's been on 2 state championship teams. Bryce Best, senior. He's been on 1 state championship team. Jackson Jamerson, junior, 2 state championship teams. And, Parker Leaf, sorry. Junior, 2 state championship teams. Those guys couldn't make it here tonight. Thank you. We'll be back. Thanks again. Didn't realize you were so short.
Yeah. All right. All right. Do we have everyone set up under future meeting topics?
Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Okay, then with that, we will move on to our action items. First item up this evening is a public hearing for the community input on the Meridian Community Development Block Grant Program Action Plan. We'll open this public hearing with staff comments from Crystal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. As you said, I'm here for the action plan for the CDBG program. It's that time of year where we're going to get started with our planning process. And I wanted to reach out to everyone tonight with this public hearing to make sure that we involved people early in the planning process so that we can get as much feedback as possible. So this is a HUD program, so everything leads back to housing stability. Even our public services come back to how we can provide housing stability for our residents. To be eligible projects, then in addition to being part of the housing stability process, then people need to be serving low-income participants, and they have to be Meridian residents that they're serving with these funds. So as far as the low to moderate income, they have to be at or below 80% of the area median income. Here's a small part of the chart with this. So a 4-person household could make up to $78,400 and qualify for these programs. It is based on the subrecipients, the people that we work with, what their priorities are and how they define it. But for our programs, they can make up to those amounts. We do have 3 different guiding documents. The first one is our 5-year consolidated plan. And this is where we make a really targeted effort to go out into the community and try to identify what the needs are. And this sets up our goals for the 5 years. And then each year we have our action plan, which is what we're doing now. And it defines the projects and says what we're going to do to try to meet those goals throughout the next year. And then we have our CAPER, which is the end of year report. Here's an overview of the most recently completed program year, which ended in September 2024. We do have 4 different goals that we have. The first one is administering the program. And with that, you can't see the numbers here. It didn't translate over very well. But under admin, we spent $21,198. And I'm actually going to be back in about a month to talk more in detail about the projects that we did fund last year. So I'll give you exact numbers on those. But under our public services, we funded 2 projects. The first one was Jesse Tree's Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and that was $32,354. And we also funded the Boys and Girls Club Youth Scholarship Program, which was $20,000. And then under housing, we worked with NeighborWorks Boise on both of these projects. The Home Buyer Assistance Program was $41,000, and the homeowner repair was about $179,000. And then under our infrastructure projects, we had streetlights for $215,000, and we started on our first couple of walkability projects, and we only got through design and a little bit of the construction, so there was only $51,000 spent on that one. But again, I'll give you more details, all the exciting stuff in another month or so. So we are looking for potential projects for our upcoming action plan, and we have 2 different ways that we're doing that. The first piece is our competitive applications. That application is going to be open to nonprofits the month of April. The first one is public services, and we don't have the exact dollar amounts that we'll be receiving, so this is estimates based on what we received this year. The public services are capped at 15% of the grant, so that would be right around $80,000. And currently we're funding the Jesse Tree Emergency Rental Assistance Program and the Boys and Girls Club Scholarships Program. And for housing, we're guessing that there's going to be roughly $200,000 available for that. And this year, the only program that we are funding is homeowner repair. As far as internal projects, it's going to be roughly another $200,000. And that will just be going down the list of the projects identified in our walkability study a couple years ago. So the public hearing that we're having here tonight is just to provide a space for the public and for council to give us feedback and make sure that we're on the right track. We want to make sure that the consolidated plan stays relevant and that we're meeting the needs of the community. We are also wanting to make sure that we're working with the right providers and that we're taking a targeted approach to see if there's any services that are needed that are not provided and they meet the terms of the grant, that we're reaching out to those providers. It is a competitive application though, so even if I reach out to a provider, it doesn't mean that they're going to be receiving the funding. It's up to the scoring committee. So this is a tentative action plan timeline. Our application is open the month of April. In May, the scoring committee will recommend projects. The end of May, I'm planning to have the action plan available for public comment, and then I'll be back before you guys June 3rd for the first public hearing. And then during the month of June, I'll be doing community outreach, trying to make sure everybody has an opportunity to provide feedback. And the final public hearing and closing the public comment will be on July 8th. So even though this isn't a formal public comment period or anything, I'm always available to take comments and receive feedback so that I can incorporate that throughout the year. This is my contact information. My name's Crystal Campbell, and we also have our website listed. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Crystal. Council, any questions for staff?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Taylor.
Crystal, thank you for the presentation. Quick question on the money we provided to Jesse Tree and the other one, Boys and Girls Club. Did you say there's limitations in the amount that can be awarded to those compared to some of the other pots of money? Could you just give me 30 more seconds information on that?
No problem. So we have two different caps. The first one is administrative, but we don't actually use all of our funds for administrative. That cap is 20% of the overall grant. And then the other one is for public services. And we can only provide up to 15% of the overall grant. And sorry, were you going to say something? Okay. Yeah, so anybody who's providing those type of services, that's not specifically a housing service. And emergency rental assistance, even though they're helping with housing, it's a little bit different and not actually considered a housing activity. So it is limited on that one.
Mr. Mayor, if I follow up.
Councilman Taylor.
So what is Jesse Tree then? If it's not quite administrative, what do we consider it in respect to this block grant?
It falls under public services because they can only provide up to 3 months worth of funding for the housing. We can't provide ongoing rental assistance. It has to be an emergency and very limited.
Councilman Willock.
Thanks, and appreciate that. And I'm fairly new still. I can play that card, but the federal funds or the CDBG funds will come October 1 and be available concurrent with our fiscal year as well. So your plan here lines up nicely with our budgeting process. And then I'm assuming, again, you'll start with October 1 funding. Is that correct?
Yes.
Any insights on what the federal government might do in terms of funding levels moving forward?
I have been told that for this grant, that the continuing resolution that was passed, it was passed at level funding. So there could be some changes in the way that they allocate it, but it's supposed to, I'm guessing it's going to be right around the same, but they haven't told us yet how much it's going to be. So unfortunately, I have no insights.
Council, additional questions? Okay, thank you very much. Square, can we have anybody sign up to testify on this item?
Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Okay. Is there anybody present or online who would like to provide testimony? If you're online, you can use the raise your hand feature. Or if you're present, you can come forward at this time. Seeing no one raising their hands or coming forward. Crystal, what's the desire?
Just to close the public comment period, or sorry, the public hearing tonight, and then I will just continue moving forward with the planning.
Okay.
Mayor.
Councilman Willock.
I move that we close the public hearing on agenda item number 2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those nay. The ayes have it and the public hearing is closed. Thank you, Crystal. Okay. Next item up is item 3, public hearing for proposed summer 2025 fee schedule, the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department. We will open This public hearings with staff comments from someone who's definitely not Jenna.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thanks for having me tonight. In front of you are the fees for the next activity guide and our summer fees. In those fees also include the pool fees that we discussed about 2 weeks ago when I was here discussing that with you as well. You'll see that there's some increases and decreases to the classes and the programs that we're offering. Again, like every time I'm up here, it's really based on number of classes that are offering that during that session, whether it be more, less, those type of things. Some small increases here and there just with just product and things that they're using, but otherwise, they're about the same or up a little bit. But with that, I'll stand for questions if there is any, and go from there.
Thank you, Garrett. Council, any questions for staff? Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody present who would like to provide public testimony on this item, or either in the room or online? Seeing no one, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
move that we close the public hearing on the proposed summer 2025 fee schedule for Parks and Rec.
Second.
I have a motion second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the public hearing is closed. Next item up is item 4, which is resolution number 25-2507. Adopting the summer of 2025 fee schedule of the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department, authorizing the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department to collect such fees and providing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
would move that we approve resolution number 25-2507, adopting the summer 2025 fee schedule for Meridian Parks and Recreation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 25-2507. Is there discussion?
Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
I would just thank the department for the thought and effort that went into all of this. And I know that you're looking outside the box and trying to do all that you can to keep the fees at a reasonable rate, while still being able to provide quality services to the residents of Meridian. So I appreciate all the work that's gone into this.
Thank you. If there are no further comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the resolution is agreed to. Thank you, Garrett. Have a good night. Up next is item 5, which is a public hearing for Bald Cypress multifamily H 2025-0003. We will open this public hearing with staff comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The first application before you tonight is a request for an easement vacation. This site consists of 3.76 acres of land. It's zoned CG and is located at 3570 North Eagle Road. The applicant requests approval to vacate a portion of the existing 20-foot wide city water easement generally located on the northern portion of the property adjacent to West Bald Cypress Street on Lot 1, Block 1, Smitchker Subdivision North. The reason for the request is that the easement prevents the property from being developed in accord with the site plan approved with the conditional use permit, and that is shown there on the right. The applicant has submitted a relinquishment letter from the City of Meridian Public Works Department consenting to the vacation of this easement as proposed. The easement was intended to provide for connection of water across 2 dead ends from east to west. The applicant intends to provide a water connection further to the south, as shown right here, which is acceptable to Public Works. Staff is recommending approval of the proposed vacation of the easement. No written testimony has been received. Staff will stand for any questions.
Thank you, Sonia. Council, any questions for staff? Okay. Is the applicant here? Do you have any comments or anything that you'd like to add? Thank you. We didn't want Dean to yell at us, so if you can just say your name and address for the record, please.
Anthony Newton. My address is 2071 East Wrightwood Drive, Meridian. I'm here on behalf of Kimley Horn. I guess I would just like to say I'll stand for any questions.
Council, any questions? All right. Thank you very much. Clerk, you want to sign up to provide testimony on this item?
Mr. Mayor, nobody signed up.
Is there anybody that would like to provide testimony on this item? Not seeing anyone coming forward. The applicant waive final comments. Applicant waives final comments. Okay, applicant waives final comments. Do I have any motions?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
I would move that we close the public hearing on agenda item number 5.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The public hearing is closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Whitlock.
after considering all staff, applicant, and public testimony, I move that we approve file number H 2025-0003 as presented in the staff report for this hearing date, March 25th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve H 2025-003. Is there discussion on the motion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Cavanagh.
Aye.
Little Roberts.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Whitlock.
Aye.
All action, motion carries, and the item is agreed to. Thank you very much. Item number 6 is a public hearing for Great Cliff Estates, number 5, lot 12, block 9, H 2025-0005. We will open this public hearing with staff comments.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Next item on the agenda is the easement vacation for Great Cliff Estates number 5. The site consists of 0.16 acres of land zoned R8 located at 4445 South Tandycroft Avenue. The applicant requests to vacate a 5-foot portion of the 10-foot permanent easement for public utilities, pressurized irrigation, and lot drainage encumbering lot 12, block 9 of Grace Cliff Estates subdivision number 5. These easements were established as part of the approved final plat for Great Cliff subdivision number 5. Currently, the lot is vacant and does not have a building permit associated with the property. The applicant is requesting a reduction in the easement to allow for a larger home on the property. Relinquishment letters were received from Lumen, CenturyLink, Intermountain Gas, Nampa Meridian Irrigation District, and Idaho Power for a portion of the easement proposed to be vacated. Staff is recommending approval and has not received any written testimony, and I'll stand for questions.
All right. Thank you very much. Council, any questions for staff? Okay, would the applicant like to come forward?
Mayor, members of the council, hello and good evening. For the record, my name is Sabrina Durchie. I'm here on behalf of KB Home. And my business address, we just moved, is 2487 West Navigator Drive, Suite 120, Meridian, Idaho, 83642. And as Nick has explained, we were needing a reduction on lot 12, block 9 for Great Cliff Estates. As you can see, it's a flag lot and the public utility easements kind of run along the side and not on the back, making it hard to make the building footprint work for the site. We do have the lot under contract. Future homeowners have picked out the floor plan and they are ready to start building their dream home. So we just need additional 5 feet. And so there's currently no utilities on the site, and all the utility agencies granted us approval to reduce the easement to 5 feet. So with that, I'll stand for any questions, and thank you for the pleasure of your time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Council, any questions for the applicant? All right,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Do we have anyone set up on this item tonight?
Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Okay, is there anybody present in the room or online that would like to provide testimony on this item? Seeing no one coming forward or raising their hand, does the applicant waive? Applicant waives final comments. Council? Your direction and pleasure.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Overton, was that you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, this seems pretty straightforward. I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the public hearing is closed.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Overton.
I'd like to move that considering all staff, applicant, public testimony, I move we approve file number H 2025-0005 as presented in the staff report for the hearing date of March 25th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item H 2025-0005. Is there discussion on the motion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Cavanagh.
Aye.
Little Roberts.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Whitlock.
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries, the ayes agree to. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Council, anything under future meeting topics, or do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Little Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.